excuse my beach hair. We literally just got back from the beach and like are doing all the unpacking thing now. My husband is very type A, so I would let my stuff sit in my suitcase literally for days, maybe weeks. But my husband's like doing laundry and all the things. So anyways, thank you for having me on. I'm trying to, let's see, I'm going to try to, Dylan, can I share my screen? There we go. Okay. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Who knows what I have up in the background? Let's see. Okay. Can you guys see that? All right. True, I guess, teacher fashion. I can't even think right. I'm one of those people that's like, squirrel. I can't even think right if I don't have a slideshow in front of me. But what I want to talk about is my story and kind of how I got started in coaching. But also, I am going to kind of lift open the hood of the car, if you will, and give you guys some really behind the scenes, the tough stuff that not everybody shares, because my journey as a coach sounds like it was exponential growth and like really easy and all the things. But there was a lot of things, as you guys know, as coaches, a lot of hurdles that you get over, a lot of mindset that you have to overcome, a lot of mountains that you have to climb as a coach. And now it feels like I'm a new coach, but I've been coaching almost 2.5 years, which sounds crazy. So I am just going to dive right in. I want you guys to be interactive. So if you have questions, please comment them in the chat and all of that, and I can answer them at the end. But let's be interactive tonight. So like Dylan said, I am a professor at the University of Alabama. I teach business communication, which is kind of funny because I failed my public speaking class in college. I never dreamed that I would be a professor. I was in corporate marketing for about 10 years and really found this job by chance. And as you start to hear my story tonight, I really don't believe in coincidence anymore. I believe in a whole lot of divine intervention. So that my professor job allows me a lot of flexibility, but it is still a job. And I feel like I'm one of the few elite, if not multiple time elite coaches that still works full time. So I do it. And I say I work it a lot of times in the car rider line and in pockets of time. But anyways, okay, so let's get into it. My story. I say it's from broken and hopeless to finding the light, and what that means. So growing up, I danced for the Atlanta Ballet, and then I cheered in college. And I say ballet beginnings and bad examples. As a little kid, I mean, my daughter, my oldest right there, she's 8 now. And I remember being her age and being in the bathroom at the dance studio, seeing the older girls, the older dancers would look in the mirror. And I don't know why we do this, women, but they're like grabbing this and that. And like, I wish this was smaller. And I just remember, I called them the big girls, but the big girls, they were so like ethereal and perfect to me. And as a child, I just couldn't understand like why they wanted to change those things. And the women in my family, it was always quick fixes and fad diets. I don't know if you guys have ever been there yourself or been around that, but it was always Atkins, Allies, something. And it was always quick fix, fad diet. And I never had an example of long-term just health and fitness. So I went to college, I would say probably my junior year of high school. I found a bottle of diet pills in the medicine cabinet and started taking those without telling anybody. And for the first time in my life, lost weight, got attention in school, did better at cheerleading, all the things. And so I was probably on diet pills for 15 years. When I went to college, it got worse. I developed full-blown eating disorder, anorexia and bulimia. And it was literally by the grace of God that my cheerleading coach, my sorority sisters, and my mom, without knowing it, all confronted me in the same day. And I don't think if they had done it different days, I wouldn't have realized that it was a problem. So from that point on, I knew that I needed to find a healthier way. The eating disorder behaviors stopped, but the mentality was still there. I still would look at myself in the mirror every day and beat myself up and would take the diet pills and try all the quick fixes, and even had tried Beachbody 2 other times before. And there was just something different after this time. I think I lived a lot of life in between and gained some perspective, but also purpose. So just really short, my story for that is, I say life went according to plan until it didn't. I met my husband, we got married, we had our first daughter, life was good. And then in the fall of 2015, we were expecting our second child. And on October 15th, 2015, if you guys know anything about that date, it is actually Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day. And the statistics say that 1 in 4 women will experience miscarriage. And my 3 best friends from high school were pregnant. We were due within a week of each other, and I was the 1 in 4. So on Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day, we lost our first pregnancy. I knew that there was going to be purpose in that pain, just because of I don't believe in the coincidences. And I knew I had to use that pain for purpose. And I would love to say that I did it immediately, but I don't know, in the chat, I don't know if I can see the chat. Where did the chat go? I'm all over the place tonight, y'all. There it is. Okay, I want to see the chat. What's up now? Okay. How many of you guys are all or nothing personality people? So for me, I am either like protein shakes and salads and on plan, or I am completely off plan, like burgers, milkshakes, just all the things, right? And I never knew just life, like that balanced space in between. Thank God I have found it now. It's something I feel like I still have to find every day, but all or nothing personality here. So after that happened, for probably 2 years, I was pretty self-destructive. And the only way that I can describe it, that it makes sense, is I felt like my body had betrayed me. So I was going to betray it. I was just over it. I didn't feel like working out. I was mad at the world. I was just over it. And I was so focused on all of the things that were out of my control. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. And I wasn't doing a good job of controlling the things that I could. So it was probably fall 2017. It was the hardest time of my entire life. My parents had split up, and it was just bad. And I was at home. There was a storm. The power went out. My phone was dead. There was nothing left for me to do. And I look in the backyard, and there was a rainbow. And I don't know if you guys know anything about rainbows and what they mean, but there was a rainbow. I've never seen anything like it, but it was like in my backyard. Like if there was a pot of gold, it would have been in my backyard. And I just felt like it was God telling me it's time to turn this pain into purpose. And so the one thing, even if you've never experienced miscarriage or loss, if you've ever experienced anything, loneliness, anxiety, just anything in life, the one thing that helps me or makes me feel better is just hearing that I'm not alone. Just for one other person to say, me too, you're not alone. And so I knew my purpose in that pain was to provide something that was like, you're not alone. And so I started compiling a book, and it's called Broken Hearted Hope. It's on Amazon. It's not fancy. It is very self-published. But I started compiling stories from couples even. There's husbands, my own husband. It's probably one of the greatest gifts other than our daughters that he's given me. He wrote a chapter in there. So I started writing this book called Broken Hearted Hope. And it was that compilation of people who have experienced that. And it was their hope through the heartbreak. And towards the end of the book, my daughter, she was about to go into kindergarten at the time. Her soon-to-be kindergarten teacher shared an article on Facebook. It was this ultrasound picture, and it was this girl's story. And it was all about celebrating life. And hers was hope after heartbreak. Here I was writing broken-hearted hope, and she wrote hope after heartbreak. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, I'm writing this book. I'm kind of wrapping it up, but I feel like your book would just be, it belongs in as part of this story. Would you be willing to let us share? I never thought I would hear back because her story went a little bit viral. And so, but I heard back from her almost immediately. And some of you guys will probably recognize her face, but she is my coach, Emily Faber. So Emily was in the book. She was actually, I want to say, chapter 10, called Celebrate Life, and her story was in there. And then as the book was being pushed to publish and edit, I found out that I was pregnant again. And something was stopping me from finishing the book. I just couldn't do it. And I knew that was why. And so as I was editing each page, I also needed to read each page, because as soon as we found out that we were expecting, those 2 lines faded just as soon as they came. And so I ended up having to write the final chapter called Even If. And it was, even if I didn't get my rainbow here on earth, there was purpose in this, and God is still good. And so Emily, I sent her a copy of the book. That's Miss Goose. And that was her story. Now, this picture with her holding these 2 rocks is really important, because that the book and following her journey is kind of as far as it went. She didn't send me a hey girl. She didn't ask me to join her team or her boot camp or anything like that. I just kind of watched her. She was in the 80-day obsession test group, and this picture was when she was at Disney, and she said, it was just a cute little caption, and she said, find a man who will find you equal weight rocks, so you could still do your workout on vacation. And I had this thought, because her resort at Disney didn't have weights, and I had this thought, if she can do that at Disney, I can do that in little old Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And so 2 things that are really important for Emily and I's story is I was attracted to her not because of the Beachbody. I was attracted to her because she had shared her heart and her story. And I think all of us have a story, and sometimes we're afraid to share, or sometimes, I don't know if you guys are like me, but some of you guys, I see some star diamonds and diamonds. Some of you guys may have been in this business for a while, and you think, well, they've already heard my story. I feel like a broken record. I don't want to continue to tell my story. Your story is really important, and people are going to be attracted to you because of your heart and who you are on the inside, way before your side-by-side or sweaty selfie. And so I was attracted to Emily because our stories, but then I was like, I sent her a message after the rock picture, and I said, hey, tell me about this 80-day thing you're doing, but don't ask me to coach because I've done it before. And that was the truth, you guys. I think Turbo Fire I had gotten from somebody's garage sale, and then I had like gone all in as a coach a couple years before and did when 21 Day Fix came out. And I've done the skincare, I've done the other health, I've done all the things. Like it used to be a box with like a coach thing. When that came in, I didn't tell my husband, but he's like, what have you signed up for? So anybody else have a skeptical spouse on here? Comment in the chat. He hates now when I call him that, because he is like my ultimate supporter. But he's like, I wasn't skeptical of you. He was like, pretty much he was just skeptical of me doing another side business. But anyways, so that is how I connected with Emily, and then asked her, tell me about this thing, because she showed up on vacation when it was hard. Okay. So those are 2 really important things. Show up no matter what season, no matter how hard it gets, and also share your story. All right. I'm going to share, this is kind of my physical journey that first year, because I think it's important to show that I was a product of the product and got results as I was doing the coach thing as well. So I did 80-day obsession. Emily followed 80-day obsession to the T. She did the time nutrition. She followed it, did not cheat. She did the program all in. And the only reason I thought I could do it all in is because she did it all in. Because this was the first thing in my entire life that I had ever done, like fully all in. I lost 24 pounds. I went from a size 12 to a size 6. And then I just started following the Beachbody programs that year as they were released. So I did 80-day obsession. I did Lift 4. I got in the test group for Transform 20. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And then I did the test group for Portion Fix, Morning Meltdown 100, and then Bar, and then I got pregnant with Blakely. So all in all, I lost 40 pounds in my first year. And I shared every day. If you're a note taker, for 2 straight years, I posted on my timeline Monday through Sunday for 2 straight years. And it wasn't all Beachbody, right? It was other things too, but I showed up same with my stories. And I used to call myself the Insta grandma. I had like 100 followers on Instagram. I did not know how to use it. It scared me to death. I still hate seeing myself on video. But I knew that I could use this platform for this purpose that I had been given. And so anyways, but that's important to know. Like, I didn't just kind of sort of show up with my workouts or my nutrition or inviting or coaching. I showed up and did all the things every single day without exception. So my thing here is be your own best challenger. Are you being the best challenger in your challenge group? Because you are ultimately the lid on your organization. You as the leader are the lid. People aren't going to do more or go above you. So you have to set the bar high for people to get results and do the thing. Now, before I show my coaching timeline, here's my personal daily non-negotiables. And they're going to look familiar because obviously they're the vitals, but I want to kind of share my heart as well. This business takes hard work, relentless persistence, and a positive mindset. And all of those things are really important to me because you can do the hard work thing. You can even have relentless persistence doing the things. But if you don't keep a positive mindset in this business, you will not last very long. You hear us talk about PD. That's the first question I ask, and my coaches they kind of roll their eyes but laugh a little too. Now when they come to me, they know to tell me what PD they're doing before I even have to ask. So that's my first question is, what personal development are you doing? And for me personally, I do too. I do something every day for my spirit and my soul. And I also do something to kick me in the pants and light a fire under my business booty. My daughter tells me I need to get my Beachbody butt to work when I talk about dreams and goals and all that. So I always do something for faith and also to light that business fire. And you guys, if you want to ask in the chat or whatever, what my favorites are, I'm happy to tell you. But I do 2 things for personal development, and it sets the tone for my day. And my family at this point even knows now, if I am slacking or I'm doing just one and not the other, my husband will say, have you done your PD? What PD are you doing? He knows to ask me now because they can tell it changes my mood and my attitude and that kind of thing. So that's the first thing. And the next one is family time. I know that's not a vital behavior, but I think coaching is so addicting. And I think a lot of you guys on your team, you guys have families and kids and that kind of thing. And I've seen so many people start in this business and feel like they are called to do this. And then they get addicted to it and they can't put their phone down. Their husbands are frustrated. They're feeling like they're taking time away from their kids. And then the Beachbody business is the first to go because something's got to give, right? So for me, family time is a non-negotiable. It is a matter, and I'm pretty unapologetic about this, it is a matter of taking responsibility for your own time. Like, when my husband comes in the door at 5 something in the afternoon, I spend time with him. When my daughter's home from school in the afternoon, I help her with her homework and do stuff with her. That does mean sometimes I have to get up at 5 a.m. and do my workout or my power hour, but my family time is as non-negotiable as my faith time with my personal development, quiet time with God. So family time is really important. When I first started doing this business with team calls and that kind of stuff, I was very careful not to overbook myself. I didn't do a ton of guest speaking. I would just do my call, and communication was key as well. I think my husband also, when I say he was skeptical, a lot of it was I just wasn't communicating my passion for this business and how important it was to me. And once I started doing that, and once he saw that in me, then things changed. But family time is one of mine. Working out, of course, nutrition, inviting and expanding, and social media. Like I said, I showed up Monday through Sunday, every day, 7 days a week for 2 years. I don't anymore. I think once you've been in this business for a while, you kind of earn the luxury of not having to show up every single day. But in the beginning, it is crucial to be showing up every single day. I'll talk a little bit more about inviting and expanding because that is my not so secret weapon. But I feel like how I saw, I guess, insert disclaimer, fast success in this business. Utilize your resources. If you don't utilize the bat, use it, but 10x it. I think the bat was created for like a brand new coach to barely hit Success Club. And to me, the bat is something to be 10x. If you want to be a star diamond or a diamond coach, which you should, honestly, full-time, part-time income to me starts at 2-star. So the business activity tracker, I have a new coach cohort checklist that I do to onboard new coaches. I'm happy to share that. But then I want to show you guys, this was my first year as a coach and the timeline for that. And I say easy is an illusion because I was really annoying. So I signed up in November 2018 with the 14-day free trial. I got my bands and my bands on Amazon. My sliders were paper plates from Walmart. Emily tried to tell me, and I think I had like shakes that I bought off our local garage sale, which is kind of gross. Took a chance there. But Emily was like, no, you're going to end up spending more if you do it this way. Like, it's cheaper just to get the challenge pack. And I'm one of those people that I just have to learn the hard way for myself. And so I did the 14-day free trial. Of course, it rolled to quarterly bod. But she let me in her group anyways. And normally she wouldn't have, but she was like, there was just something about the way we connected in our story, and I could just tell that you needed this. And so she let me in her group. So don't give up on those people that are like, not wanting to do any of the things. Like, be their coach before you're their coach, kind of thing. Because if Emily had never given me a chance, I just can't even imagine. So when my quarterly bod was up, I was like, fine, I'll do it. I'll do a challenge pack and I'm going to sign up as a coach. So I did, and I dove straight into I wanted to know all the things. And at that time, we didn't have a coach university. I just was like, okay, the vitals. Okay, fine, I'm going to do that. Inviting, cool. And the only thing I knew is that you have to private message invite and show up and do the things, get the results. But they also said Success Club was a non-negotiable. And I just saw on your leaderboard, some of you guys have already hit it. Some of you guys are already making moves. And it's like, I don't even know the date today. It's the 6th of the month. And so my coach, Emily, her coach is Ashley Molstad. And they're pretty unapologetic, you guys. They're tough. And so Ashley said, if you want to be a successful coach, you will hit SC 6 by the 6th and 10 by the 10th. And I heard that and I was like, okay, fine. But Success Club was a non-negotiable. So I signed up February 20th. February is the shortest month of the year, and hit SC 8 my first 8 days. I'm still kind of annoyed by that because I would have a perfect SC 10 record if it wasn't for that one little month. But I hit SC 8 my very first month in those first 8 days. My team name because of that is Faith Over Fear, because I did not sit in the fear for a second. And I think that's what a lot of coaches do is they sit and they overthink and then they get overwhelmed and they try to do this training and that training. Just do the workouts, follow the nutrition, and invite your friends like it's a party you're having or a concert you're going to and you want them to come with you. Take the fear and the overcomplicating out of it. So March, I went diamond in 26 days. In April, I went 2-star diamond in 56 days, became a team leader. I was hitting SC 48, 72, higher SC numbers. In June, I went to Summit, my very first Summit, and that was also a non-negotiable for me. Ashley and Emily said, if you want to be a successful coach and you're going to do this, you're going to get to Summit, which I am so sad that you guys didn't. We got to experience it, but not the full in-person thing. But I went to my first Summit and I was so excited, and I got to walk across the stage as a 2-star, and it was life-changing. And people said that, and I was like, that sounds so hokey. This stupid event is not going to be life-changing. It was life-changing. And the thing about it that was life-changing is because I was being surrounded by those people that I glorified every day on my stories. So I would Bonnie Engel would walk by, and Melly Mitro and all these coaches. And I was like, oh my God, they're celebrities to us. We watch their stuff every day. But then I realized when I was walking among them, they're people. These are regular freaking people that have nothing that I don't have. The playing field is leveled, and you can tell yourself, because I would limiting beliefs. I would be like, well, I have brown hair and I don't look like a Barbie. And I would tell myself all of those things, which are stupid. I would even tell myself my walls are tan and I don't have a pretty white house. All of them seem to have, I would just tell myself the stupidest stuff. And Summit made me realize they're the most regular people. I can do this if they can do this. Now, what happened is I went on my family vacation, the same one we just went on this past week, but I went on my family vacation, and that 2-star in the 56 days, I had a friend, and we're competitive and just a good friend, and we just ran together. So my husband ran as she ran, and that's how we went the 2-star in the 56 days. Well, she called me while I was at that beach trip, and she said, hey, I just found out I'm pregnant. We're moving. And this is the worst phrase to hear as a coach, I'm going to take a step back from the business. And I was like, no, not because of me, not because I'm we were running, we were doing all the things, because I knew the potential that she had inside of her. And it crushes me when a coach says, I'm going to take a step back from the business, because in those times, you need to lean in. I've been going through right now. I'm postpartum in a pandemic. I had my rainbow baby in March. The week after the pandemic happened, I had to homeschool my daughter with a week-old newborn, and I've dealt with some debilitating postpartum anxiety and depression, but I've shared it, and I get messages every day from women, not even women that are joining me for Beachbody, but women that have the courage to go talk to their doctor now because I shared something that was vulnerable. And so I think perspective in that matter of sometimes it's you have to take care of yourself and fill your own cup. But sometimes if you just lean in, the breakthrough is just right on the other side of that mountain that you're going to climb. And so I had to start over. Also, I got an email from compliance, and I didn't know about the U+2 card rule. And so I lost everything. I had to start over as a diamond coach, completely over. And I remember calling from the balcony of that beach trip. I remember calling one of my coaches, and she was almost diamond. And I just remembered, I've never ever said I wanted to quit. I never have thought about quitting. But I said, I don't know if I can do it again. I just didn't know if I could rebuild and go 2-star and all the things again. And she said, yes, you can, because I need you to. I'm almost diamond. Let's run together. And so we did, me and her, and we got back to the 2-star. Now, go back to August. It was my birthday. So my birthday is August 10th. And on August of 2018 was when you got in. I don't know if some of you guys have been here for a while, but used to test groups were really hard to be a part of. Now they have the success starters, and I think it's great and a really cool opportunity. If you are close or have the opportunity to be in a success starter test group, please know what an honor and privilege that is. And it can absolutely transform and change your business. But I wanted to be in that Transform 20 test group, and I was going to do anything to get it. So on August 10th, I see another August 10th birthday. It says iPhone, so I don't know your name. But On August 10th, I was at SC -4. Did you know that could happen? So I had people return challenge packs and they take the points away. So I was at SC -4 on my birthday. And I was like, you know what? Old me would have gone by the pool and been sipping a margarita. But I sat at my kitchen table and I sent over 250 invites that day until people started saying yes. I was not going to get up from the table until I hit Success Club. So I went from -4 to SC 52 and earned a spot in that Transform 20 test group. It changed my body, but my mind, like anything else, y'all. Shanti scares the ever living daylights out of me. Even day one, I was like, what have I done? Cardio is not my jam. I will lift weights all day. So that was way outside of my comfort zone, but it was everything that I needed. Now, in October of 2018, Emily's husband, Dylan, was deployed. And so she invited me as her guest to leadership. And I'm going to go ahead and plug new leader in leadership right now. If you are anywhere near, I would say Emerald, really, but if you're anywhere near Diamond, get to Star Diamond and get to new leader next year. That is life-changing. The 5-star conference is leadership, also life-changing. And I went as Emily's guest. You had to be a 1-star to be the guest, and I was barely a 1-star. We actually earned it back the Thursday I flew out there. So I was like embarrassed to not be the rank that I had earned to get there. But I left there and it was the most insane training. And I said, I'm coming back here on my own merit next year. You guys, that was October. I want you to sink in this timeline because some of you guys are sitting here saying, well, it's already over half the year. 8 months are already gone in the year. It's too late this year. You're already counting your goals for next year and you're forgetting about this year. You guys, I was a shaky 1-star in October and I left there on fire and I said, I'm going to do this. So, and I do it every year now. But I did a diamond dash and a text effect. I didn't even ask the girls. I just started a text strand and there were 7 of them. And I just said, you are the 7 that I believe in. I believe that we can be an elite team and you guys are the ones who are going to do it. I earned my 2nd business center. So I said, nobody has further to go in this than me. Okay. Diamond is just 12 people. We overcomplicate diamond. It's just 12. So I was like, you all have 8, 9, 10, 6. I have 12. Nobody has to hustle harder than I do. So let's do this together. And we got in there and we would share invites and our PD and just hold each other accountable and did life together. And so the very last week that you could go, well, like Dylan said, circle 826 and do it before. Don't wait till the end of the year. But the last 2 years, so my first 2 years of Elite, I went into qual the last second you could. So we went into qualification November, I think 21st, and had to hold qual from Thanksgiving to New Year's. Talk about a stressful holiday season the last 2 years. But what happened is I called them my 7 strong. They were a complete miracle team because what happened with that text strand with the 7 of them, it was like nobody wanted to be left behind. There were nights on Wednesday night that at 11 p.m. Central Time, they were like, refresh the back office, trying to lock it in. But we ended up going 7. We went from inception to 7-star elite in 10 months as our first year as a team. And I think a lot of that is consistency. I showed up every day. I believed really big and I worked really hard. I sent 80 invites a day, non-negotiable. The days that I couldn't send 80 invites, I would make up the next day. So I had a weekly non-negotiable because there are some days where I'm behind the podium as a teacher from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. So I just had weekly non-negotiables and no excuse could come between those. I also didn't share, we have a prayer wall at a coffee shop in our town. So that year I had prayed for a baby for Emily and Dylan, and it felt really stupid, but I prayed for 5-star elite for my team. And Emily did have a miracle baby and my team did go 5-star elite. So we pray for all the things on the prayer wall every year now. Okay, now I'm not going to go into this in huge detail. I'm just going to tell you that it was really defeating to go elite that first year, and then the very first week of 2019, they all dropped. So this is an escalator business. I think Kate Schultes is the first person I ever heard say this, and if you are walking up the down escalator and you stop walking, what happens? You go down the escalator. And that's just a reality of this business. How many of you guys have opened up your back office on Thursday morning and you celebrate your paycheck and you celebrate your team, but then you look at your back office and it's bleeding red with inactives and you're like, oh my gosh, I have all this work to do. And so I just learned early on that I just had to be proactive, but also have a really strong mindset, because those things are going to happen. People are going to quit on you and life is going to happen and all of the things. And I remember Ashley said it the first year. She said, the people that get you there might not be the people that keep you there. And I didn't know what she meant. And I was kind of offended because I thought we had a tribe and we were just going to be like sisters forever. So most of them dropped from Diamond. We took a beach retreat. We were Diamonds dashing for Disney. And by the time the retreat came, it was not a smart business decision on my part to still go to Disney because they had all dropped. So I still took them on a beach retreat. But then, you know, I spent a lot of 2019 with a bad freaking attitude. And my husband, honestly, was the one that kind of helped pull me out of it, because he was like, you've got to have the mentality that you're going on that beach retreat, not for the girls that are there even, but the girls who aren't there yet. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I really kind of changed my mindset. That very next month, we went to Summit. I call it the Summit Separator, because that first year I was just by myself at Summit, a team of one. That next year I had a whole house of girls at Summit. But here's what happened at Summit. Because there's all this Summit is recognition. And either you're like me and you're an Enneagram 3 and you like thrive on recognition, or you're somebody that feels kind of defeated with recognition, or you second guess or doubt yourself when you see other people getting recognized. So it was like half and half. Half of them were really inspired and wanted that to be that they were the me. They were like, these are normal people. I can do this too. And they were really inspired. But then I had a group of girls that were defeated. And so that was a defining moment for our team as well. I actually found out the week of Summit that I was pregnant. And so I was on stage sharing my testimony and had, I think I was like literally days pregnant. We knew, but we hadn't shared it yet. And so that was really cool to be in Lucas Oil Stadium pregnant, and no one else knew it but me and my husband. Now, that year, I went to leadership again on my own merit because I said I would. But guess what, you guys? I was there as a 1-star diamond again. Again, a 1-star diamond in October. And I remember there was a call at the very end of the year. I'm pretty sure it was November. And it was Christina Delgado. And if you guys have never listened to her on a call, like just Google something and she will light your whole life on fire. But she was talking about being the CEO of your own business. And she said, some of you guys are so close and you don't even know it. Some of you guys have sat here and counted yourselves out and said, it's not going to happen this year, talking about elite. But you haven't taken responsibility and control of your own business. And I was like, what? And she was talking about eternal impact. And that just does something to me. So I had just sat all year. I was like, this isn't our year. We went elite in 7 months our first year. Like, this isn't our year. Like, this is somebody else's year. We're just not going to hit elite this year. We'll do it again next year. And I had talked myself out of it. I was like, I just don't know if I have the people. I don't think we can do it. But I looked in my back office, and I have this trusty whiteboard in my office. There's a lot more names on it these days. But every year I whiteboard it because it does something to people to see their names on a whiteboard. And so I whiteboarded, and we were only like 14 total people away from elite. And so I was like, okay, guys, let's do this. And I did the text effect again, and it was a struggle. And I would probably say I'm probably more proud of that year 2 elite than I was the year 1, because it was hard. It was hard. And so we hit that. Now this year, I don't have a slide for it, but it was different because none of them have dropped. We're still 8 months into the year and they are all diamond. Most of them are now multiple star diamonds. And I think for me as a leader, I say leadership and leveling up, that first year I was not a babysitter, isn't the word. Y'all help me think up a better word. But I was more like, I felt like I was pulling. I was like, okay, has everybody sent their invites? Has everybody done this? And I was trying to like, I would jump in by example and like try to pull. And this next year, and I think it was the way I talked about the business. It was just like purpose and passion, which it still is. But I didn't talk about it like it was a business. So I really was like car rider line, pockets of time. I'm still a professor. I would say that first year, my first title was professor and mom, and then coach was like the quiet one. Now I'm like, I'm a Beachbody coach and I change freaking lives and I'm a professor on this side. And so leveling up as a leader and empowering the people that are on my team to be leaders themselves as well. And so that the year 3 elite, we were, I think, one of the first 18 teams to lock it in 2020. And it was the same crew that did it year 2. So I'm really proud of that. Now I know year 4 and we're going for superstar right now, which scares me to death, but I know it won't be the same people. But that just gives you kind of an insight into the hard of this business. People are going to quit on you. It's going to get hard. But you as a person, you have to make sure you're not the lid on your business, that you're the light and that you are setting the bar and showing people that they can do it too. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm kind of ready for 2020 to either take a turn or be over. But so 5 tangible tips for your best year yet going forward. Share your story and your journey daily. You cannot share your heart and your journey, and you don't have to share everything all at once, but breadcrumb things about your journey all the time. You cannot share your story enough. Sharing with a smile. I see so many people that they're checking boxes. If you guys have ever gotten into that box check zone, it's very, very dangerous because you're still doing your TikTok or Triller or whatever is cool next week, and you're doing the workouts, but it's like people can tell. I see girls that are like doing their workouts and they're not smiling at all. Like it looks, every phrase like, oh my God, I almost died. And it's like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't look fun at all. So share with a smile, and it's okay to share your journey and your story. I have a pretty heavy story, but I always make sure to share my source of hope and light along with that, so people know that there is always hope. Adding value. So you've got to add value into people's lives, whether it be a recipe or a mom hack or just, I don't know, anything. Ask yourself, this is something Emily taught me very early on when I posted, am I making somebody laugh, inspiring them, changing their mind, or giving them something that they want to bookmark or share with a friend that's of value? Don't say product or program names ever. The only time I ever do this is if I'm in a test group. But I do not say program names. I do not say Energize. I do not say Shakeology, because you want it to be attraction or curiosity marketing. And the reason why is because people will watch you, and some of you guys have maybe had this happen anyways, but people will watch you. And if you talk about MBF and Energize, they are going to, on my team, we call it GTS. They are going to Google it, and they're going to sign up either on Beachbody or with somebody else. And then you don't get to touch their lives. So definitely don't use names unless you are in that Success Starter test group. And then private messaging, inviting. My goal is non-negotiable It used to be, I think the game has changed on Instagram, and some of you guys may agree, but used to, it was just invite, 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 and it was all about numbers. And then I think the Instagram game is now all about connection, connecting, and 531, and really connecting and getting to know people, because people, I think, can smell a hey girl coming from 10 feet away, because everybody is doing it. But private message inviting is like, if you posted on your Facebook wall, I'm going to have a party next Friday, everybody should come, like probably only your besties are going to show up. But if you private message them like, hey, I'm having this party, everybody's wearing this and bringing this, I would love for you to come, they're more likely to come. And then if you follow up 2 or 3 times, they're probably really going to come. Or they're going to tell you like their excuse why they can't. So, but private message invite, my first year, my weekly non-negotiable was 250 touches per week. So that included brand new invites and follow-ups as well. I will say now probably I won't let my head hit the pillow until I've sent at least 30 per day. Be yourself. This is something that I was not for the first probably year and a half. I was being who I thought people wanted me to be. I think I see you guys, some of you guys are drinking wine on this call, so I'm just gonna take a little sip of that. You are my people. So for about a year and a half, I was scared to fully be myself, because I love Jesus, but I like wine too, and I can be funny and fun, and I was only half of myself on social media. And what happened is you go to these events with your team, and I don't know if you guys have ever listened to Amy Silverman, but she talks about this sometimes too, but it was like, I wanted my tribe, like I wanted to be fully me around my team and feel that way. And it wasn't until I did actually a lake retreat for Summit this year. I actually got nasty messages about like we didn't social distance, but it's fine. But I did a lake retreat for Summit this year, and it was everything I've ever dreamed of. It was like we all had like leopard and white claw, but we did a devotional in the morning, and we did like 90s dance parties by night. It was like all of my middle school dreams come true. But be yourself, because you're going to have a lot more fun in this business, and you're going to find people that love you for you when you do that. You attract what you talk about. So talk about coaching. The number one question I get is, how do you attract working coaches? You attract working coaches by talking about coaching. And I myself need to do a better job of this, because I was not raised to talk about money. Money was always like a bad word in our house. It's weird for me to talk about, but I am doing people a disservice by not talking about the opportunity that this business has given our family. We can take vacations. I kind of joked around and said that when I started this business, at first I just wanted to cover the cost of my shakes. Then I was like, okay, I want to cover the cost of our groceries. And then a couple months in, I was like, I want to pay an extra mortgage payment every month. And then I thought it sounded kind of cute, so I said, I want to be debt-free by 33. So like cars, house, everything, 100% debt-free by 33. I turn 33 next week, and my husband texted me this week that it's happening. And so we are able now to create a legacy for our daughters, for their college. We're talking about paying cash for a beach house one day. We're talking about things in our 30s that and insert income disclaimer, but we're talking about things in our 30s that I never dreamed we would even be able to do until our 50s and 60s. We're doing things that our parents could never do. And so you attract what you talk about. Talk about the coach opportunity, even if that just means that you're able to go on a date night with your husband and you just really needed it. For me, one of my favorite things is to see, like, we just went on vacation, and to see, used to my husband, he's an accountant, so you can see he's like crunching the numbers and how much we've spent. Are we on budget for the vacation? And like to see that piece on his face is worth everything. So talk about coaching and what it is. And then mindset is absolutely everything. In this business, I can almost tell you who's going to make it and who's not based on how positive their attitude is. When life starts to happen and it starts raining and then pouring, and the people that remain positive and find the good among the bad are the people that make it in this business and are consistent. So anyways, I know I've taken up a lot of time. Are there any questions that you guys have for me?
That was so good. And literally we had a diamond call before this, and we were literally like, some of the things you were saying about sharing your story and all of that, like checking the boxes, we were literally like, it's just like nailing it right there, because we were literally just talking about that too. But I love that. I know some of the girls that couldn't get on, one of the questions that one of the girls had was, when you're feeling stuck, and I know you kind of touched on this, but when you're feeling stuck, like maybe you feel like you're doing all the things, but you're just kind of like in quicksand, like you're just staying stuck right there. What have you found that has helped, or I don't know, mindset shift or PD or whatever has helped in that situation?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So that happens. I almost feel like that almost happens every month, if not every other month in coaching. No kidding, because what you do for a while doesn't work eventually. And I think it's just been a matter of not being afraid to completely reinvent myself. And one of the things that I've done that I was so against and was not going to do has been free groups. I don't like to do them often because I think if you do a free group every month, why would somebody ever pay to join you? But quarterly now, I usually will do a free group, and I was not about it. I did not want to do it, and I was like, fine, whatever. And I had my highest SC month ever the month after the free group, and I usually get working coaches from that because all of my coaches are in there and they see all of us. And I pour a lot of energy and time into that, and it's like by the end of the week, so many people are like, okay, this was not what I thought it was at all. I have to do this. And how do I be on your team? So free groups is something that I did. Something I've never done, but Emily is seeing success with right now is flash sales. And so I'm like, no. But just, I would say the willingness and openness to try anything and the humility to reach out and see the people who things are working for, like what are they doing? Keep it true to you. But I have people that are joined coaching after me or are at lower ranks than me that I'm like, what are you doing, homegirl? Because you are killing it. And I just think the humility to learn, you have to continue to learn in this business. So I don't know that there's like one PD that I think you just are open to PD. Don't just read it, act upon it. I know I would do the 12-week year was one that I read and changed one of those years that it was like the end of the year. And it was like, okay, I need to get a whole year's worth of work in these next couple weeks. So I think mine was more like the 4-week year, but still. But also I think just being open and willing to try anything. You got to fail forward in this business. Some things will be a total fail, but you tried it and you learned from it.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, you guys, what's that quote? Like, doing insanity is like doing the same thing over and over again without seeing results. Like, if what you're doing right now, if you've consistently, like, not just been doing it 2-3 days a week, on and off, like every other week, but like you've consistently been doing the same things and checking the boxes, either you need to do more or you need to change up what you're doing. I think that's like the simplest thing. And then, yeah, ask other people, like reach out to people on our team or other coaches that you follow or anybody and just ask them, hey, what are you doing?
That's really good. I'm writing that down. That was really good. Either do more or do something different. And I think sometimes it's like you might be doing the things, but there are girls that I can look and like their story, I can just tell like you're doing the things, but you have no confidence. Mm-hmm. Or you're checking the boxes and you have no joy. So you can be sending 200 invites a day too, same as the other girl, and she's going to see results and you're not. And I've been there. The times in my life where I'm just going through the motions and not on fire about something. So I think the answer is find your fire and
Yeah.
do that.
Yep. I love that. Okay, so Megan asked, and Megan, the newsletter question, yeah, you can, we'll talk about this tomorrow on our call, but yeah, you can do, I mean, you can literally do whatever you want. But she asked about sharing her story. So, she wanted to know about sharing her story, surviving eating disorders, but how does she share that without hurting her dad's feelings? So do you have advice for that?
I do. I actually have a whole part of my story that I don't share on team calls and things anymore, because it is really sensitive to family. At first, when I started coaching